Hey, all right, it's recording. Hey, everybody, Brad here. I'm sending this with an email that kind of explains why I'm trying videos. It's because I suck at writing emails and sending out written communications. We're going to try the video thing. If that doesn't work, I have no idea maybe I'll just visit you each personally every month or something. But no, just kidding. No meetings. We're really big on we're not going to be a place that has mandatory meetings or anything like that. But I want to get out in this video a few things, kind of a recap of 2024 and a little bit of look into the future. This is not something you've got to watch if you don't care about this stuff. This is just FYI stuff, and please don't feel obligated to stick to the end or whatever. But it's going to kind of get better as it goes on. So I don't know. So do what you want. You're your own person. But 2024, and a little bit, it was kind of the last chunk of 2023, 2024. The big focus here on the I call it the management admin side, which to me encompasses, me and Mike, Liberty, Kaylee, and Jesse. So the five of us, Liberty, Kaylee, and Jesse do various aspects of billing and admin stuff. So that's who's, and you guys, I think almost everybody knows this. That's who's, if you email admin or billing, it's one of those three gals who's responding. So we really focused in this last year or so on systematizing the behind the scenes stuff, and a lot of you, the providers specifically, what I think I get feedback is attractive about Lighted Path as a place to work as a provider is that it's very much like you set your own schedule. It's not corporate feeling. We really try to stay away from that vibe of agency corporate stuff, right? And that is really essential to how we approach providers. I want that to be our trade, secret or whatever you call it, is that we are the anti-agency, right? And that works really good for you as providers. It doesn't work so good for things like billing and bookkeeping and admin and payroll and those. And so I kind of embraced, all right, we need some systems, and they can kind of be behind the scenes and stuff. But this thing where Brad kind of, just it's in my memory, and I'm if I died or ran away to somewhere with somebody, nobody would have, a year and a half ago, it would just been complete chaos. It would have been horrible. And I was like, this is really bad. I can't, this is a stupid plan. Let's train people up let's make it so Brad can disappear for a couple weeks and the whole thing runs smoothly. And so that's what we've been really focused on. We've systematized a lot of things, all the things that if you know the business world, these are really common, but started tracking certain things, documented our processes, all this kind of stuff. So we did all that. We got a really cool accounting team that we are starting to work with, who that Mike turned us on to out of Kansas, actually, which is funny. But they are just a kick-ass machine. It's all female-led, big accounting firm out of there, and they have just a ton of services they provide. They're doing training for us on bookkeeping and stuff. They have a data analyst, business insights kind of thing, where they help us track all these key measurements and stuff, and provide charts and all that. And we're going to start getting those, the really nice charts in, it's either going to be January, February, somewhere in there. Probably February. And I actually am going to share those with you guys, because one of the things I've been wanting to do is actually to share a little more of where the money goes, and because really it's one of the things that I think we do really, really well is that the bulk of the money goes to payroll, to you guys, to the staff, and to overhead for having the buildings and all that kind of stuff. Those two categories account for 90, 5% of the money in the company. We and that's on purpose. We could we could have made it so the profit margin for the company was bigger, but I think that's just not how we want to do things. We want it to be where we take a little bit from each person, so we get a little profit from each person and work with a lot of people, instead of we take a big chunk from from each of you, or from a smaller group of people or something like that, because then you will be like, oh, well, I could actually go do this on my own, and I make 20% more or something like that, and I think you lose good people over that. So anyway, so that's on purpose, and so it'll be really cool to be able to share some nice not just Brad, like 77% went to payroll, or whatever, but like you could see, they show me the templates they use, and they're crisp, clean, color coordinated, all that gets, or color coded, I mean, and so really good stuff. So we're excited about that. So basically 2024, we did there's just a lot of like really random behind the scenes stuff. I feel like every other day I was, or something, or every week with Liberty or Kaylee, we were like making some little, here's how you guys do this, and we would be typing up the thing and getting passwords changed and all this kind of stuff, and so the admin could do it. And so we're really, a lot of good things have happened, and a lot of good things that you probably didn't feel, there's no way that you would be like, oh, this was documented now, or this is, if Brad took off for a week or something, like Kaylee can do that. That's just not the kind of thing that you guys would have any kind of insight into. So you just got to take my word for it. It's going really well. All right, but outside of that, 2024, there was a little bit of challenges. We had a bunch of staff, for very different reasons, moved out of state. It was one of those weird years of we lost half of Eagle River to out of state, and several of them have stayed on doing telehealth and stuff. And so it's not like they weren't leaving because they didn't like the company. It was just life circumstances, and which was totally made sense. It was just kind of weird to have it happen in a clump, in about I think it was a 3-month clump. We lost 4 people to that, and there's of course a little lag in transition and stuff. And so this summer we started hiring again, and we're filling some spots. We got some people we're excited about. And then in the middle of that, unfortunately, the economy decided to be uncooperative, and we encountered a new thing that has not been the case, or at least not to this degree, which is that we couldn't fill new providers up with out-of-network clients. And there's always been a few that would come on kind of out-of-network, and it was like dang near none. And the insurance companies have just been a little laggy with a bunch of stuff, and so credentialing just seemed to take longer. So we have people we hired back in August or July that are just getting, in the last month, just getting a few clients, which is crazy. You can't start it, it's just it just hasn't been like that in the past. It hasn't been that slow. It was really slow this time. TRICARE is changing over who manages TRICARE, so that starting January 1st, TriWest is managing TRICARE West, which is kind of confusing, but those are different things. It used to be Health Net Federal Services, now it's this other thing, which actually looks good the more we dug into it, but there was a real lack of information for a while. And thanks to Dana, actually got some contact info and was able to start getting answers, and so so that's actually looking good. They actually look like they run smoother than the people managing TRICARE, so I think it's a great change, is what it looks like. So that's exciting as well. So there's a bunch of these things that just kind of took some time. We're not moving as fast as we wanted, whatever it is, but are ultimately, we're set up for success. And I think we're set up for a really good 2025. And I think that's if I did make this a big bullet point, was 2024 was a little slow. It just kind of I feel like things just kind of and slowed down, but we are poised for a really, really great 2025. We have more space in Eagle River. We have more providers. We have we've got people out of state. We're looking at we're in the process of getting compliant in these other states, and maybe expanding there, because we have several people doing telehealth in a couple states right now. And my screen loves to go black after 10 minutes. It drives me nuts. All right, sorry. But it's really good. I'm really optimistic about 2025. I think there's it just could be a really, really cool year. And so if, for some of you, everything's just been going good and it's stable and smooth and all that stuff, and so it's I would expect nothing that's going to be your 2025. I think you don't worry about it. For those of you where you've been especially the newer staff, where it's dude, this is not, we really kind of thought that this is going to go smoother or faster, I'd have a fuller caseload. It has been kind of gummed up, but the big boom of clients, one of the big booms that comes is typically in January, mid to late January, maybe early February. After the holidays are over, kids get back in school, there is typically, you get kind of the winter's dragging on, people are depressed, you typically get that kind of we get a lot of referrals in that season, and it's really important to load up on clients, because when summer hit, during the kind of midwinter thing, I would recommend keep, depending, if you want to stay busy through the summer, I would overstuff during that season. The other season that is typically a big season of a lot of clients is actually the start of the school year, is end of August, early September. And this year, and I think this had to do with the economy a bit, it was okay, but it was not the big flood that we typically get. So I'm really hopeful that in January, and this is we're about mid-December right now, I'm really hopeful that in about a month we start to see kind of a boom of clients. That's my hope. And we're actually we're already in the process of figuring out how to capture more clients. We've been consulting with some people on that. We're going to do some advertising, probably some really low-level advertising. At first we're doing, just some of we've been focused more on Psychology Today profiles, because those are actually pretty good. We're trying one or two other things, and then we're going to do, I think, the Google Ads thing, where we get pay to be the top hit if people Google therapists in the area. I think it's a cheap, easy one to do that gets results. So we're going to do a little more advertising, so that when that January boom comes, you guys have your clients. So anyway, future's good. Little validation if it was slower than it felt like, or if you felt, and I didn't say this earlier, but I meant to, I know that I've been less in communication than I typically am. I feel like I start most emails with, hey, I'm really sorry, it took me 2 weeks to get back to you, but here's your answer. And we just, that, I apologize, that it just kind of, I just have felt more bogged down. There's been just more in the back of my head, and more pieces that we're juggling. In the process, though, of handing them off to admin, which is going really, really well. And so I think that also is alleviating soon, and all that good stuff. So with that, I'm going to wish you guys Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, a great winter break. We also want to do a get-together soon. We need to plan one of those. It's time to hang out in person. So we're going to be thinking about that. And if you have any ideas, shoot me a text or an email. I'd love to have maybe kind of a day that we could get together and just in some venue where everybody can mingle. So, all right. I appreciate you guys a lot. I am looking forward to this next year. All right. Goodbye.